How many of you have been to the Lego store in Melbourne Central? Yeah, a few people. Not as many as I would have thought. How many of you have watched Lego Masters TV show? Yeah, a few more. All right. How many of you would admit to being adult collectors of Lego? Oh, not as many rich people in our congregation. I have friends and family members who are collectors of Lego, and they tell me how much some of these sets cost, and it makes my eyes water. Lego is one of those toys universally loved around the world by all ages. Simple building blocks in a variety of shapes and colours. But with a little creativity and imagination, I'm sure if you've seen the show, they can be put together with unlimited or seemingly unlimited combinations to recreate absolute masterpieces. What do I want to explore this morning for a few minutes is a few of the things that we learn about life and how it fits together from Lego. 3 things that we learn from Lego that I think we would do well to remember. So here we go with some Lego lessons. Number 1, we need to be connected to one another. Number 2, we have infinite possibilities even though we are limited. And number 3, we are each unique, important, and valuable. They're the 3 lessons that we will learn today as we go through. Number 1, let's start. We need to be connected to one another. Lego is pointless on its own. It just has some knobs. In 1949, Lego produced its first Lego brick. It wasn't quite the same as the bricks we have today, but it was pretty close. Interlocking studs on the top and tubes on the bottom. Patented then in 1958. I didn't know, but that surprised me. Lego was more recent than I thought, although I should have guessed because plastic is only that recent. Now, the Lego company, according to Google, source of all wisdom and knowledge, has made 400 billion Lego pieces. 62 bricks for every person on the planet. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure I've got more than 62 bricks at home. Somewhere, in the most random of places. If stacked on top of one another, the pieces would form 10 towers that would reach all the way from Earth to the moon. All the Lego bricks, if you bought all the Lego bricks produced in 1 year, you would be able to wrap around the world 5 times with them. There's a lot of Lego out there. But like a piece of Lego, no matter how many pieces of Lego there are, like a piece of Lego, your life is not designed to be lived alone. A piece of Lego on its own is pretty dull and boring. Doesn't do much. It needs to be connected and reconnected with other things. And then it can make things, do things, support things, build things. We too are designed to be connected to others, just like Lego bricks. It's a foundational truth, right? Back in Genesis, in the heart of the Bible, the Genesis, the book that is the foundational book for 3 of the world's largest religions. At the beginning, God creates all these things, and then he says, it's not good that man should be alone. And John Milton, the author, finds something interesting in this. He says this: it is not good for man should be alone. Hitherto, says Milton, all things that have been named were approved of God to be very good. Loneliness is the first thing which God's eye named not good. Whether it be a thing or the want of something, I labour not, I don't know. See, the first error, the first problem, the first imperfection, the first flaw in all of God's good creation is loneliness. Human beings were not and are not designed to live lives of solitude and loneliness. That's the truth. That's the first truth we learn from Lego. Second truth we learn from Lego is that Oh, no, I'll keep that. I'll show you this so I can play with it. I like to fiddle. All right. There are infinite things you can do with life, but you can't just do anything. It's interesting, isn't it? You can do an infinite number of things, but you can't just do anything. And those two things are true. Doesn't sound like they should be true, but they are true. 6 basic blocks like this, 2 by 4. The original Lego brick, right? If you had just 6 of these, you can combine them in 915 million different ways. Just 6 bricks. 6 ordinary, basic, boring bricks. Not boring. That's rude to say. Sorry, brick. When I was a bit younger, I had a pile of Lego like this, and I had the instructions for an X-Wing fighter. My friend, who was rich, was able to buy the original set. So I borrowed the instructions from him, and I got my Frankenstein mess of bricks, and I attempted to build the X-Wing as he had bought. I got through to a point, though, where I couldn't quite make the model work. I needed a piece. I don't know, have you ever had this? Do you remember having this experience as a kid? Going through your pile of Lego, looking for that one stupid piece. Anyone do that? Now, I'm not the most patient of people, but I looked for a whole 5 minutes, I'm sure. And then, do you know what I did? I grabbed a longer bit, and I grabbed a saw. It was quicker. Yes, I'm the kid who pulled the labels off Rubik's Cubes too. I got it, I sawed off this bit, I put it in, and I put it together, and it was brilliant. It only hung out a little bit. It was a bit rough, but kind of worked. It got me to play the model, and I was playing with the model and thing, and then I kind of dropped it, and I had to kind of catch it before it hit the ground, and do you know what happened? Hey? No, it didn't hit the ground. I caught it. But you know what? The sharp edge cut my hand open. It's a lesson, you see. You can do an infinite number of things with Legos, but there are some things you just shouldn't do. And cutting them short is one of them. You can do almost anything in your own life, but there are some things you kind of just shouldn't do, right? I learned this myself. I learned you probably shouldn't speed because you're going to get fined. If you cut corners, you're going to end up with a dodgy model. If you get into an argument and yell at a friend, you're going to damage that relationship. If you steal from someone, if you lie to someone, if you pretend to be more important than you are, if you fake your online dating profile, if you cheat, if you overwork, if you underpay, if you develop a hard heart towards people, all of these things will ultimately hurt you, and you will pay the price. And over thousands of years, humanity has wrestled with trying to figure out which of these things will hurt us and which won't. They started writing them down. They got a bit carried away. Jesus came and rewrote a whole bunch. And we're still trying to figure it out. What is the best way to live? What are the things we shouldn't do? Out of all the infinite things we can do, which ones are better, which ones are worse? Here's what Paul writes to the Corinthians in 1 Corinthians 10. I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. And now here's how he says, here's how he solves what to do, what not to do. No one should seek their own good, but the good of others. See, that's the general rule of thumb in most of the world's civilizations, as captured by Paul, is to pursue the good of others. That's our general rule of thumb. Of course, moral philosophers acknowledge the golden rule as one of the basic tenets of human ethics. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So, that's how we choose what to do as best we can. So we, like Lego bricks, are not designed to be alone. We're designed to be connected to others. And also, the second thing we learn is there are infinite ways in which we can be connected together, but not every way is beneficial. Not every way is constructive. And finally, the last thing I want to point out. Actually, before I tell you what it is, how many of you, when you were younger, had Lego that was your normal Lego, right? You know where I'm going with this because I said normal. Right? Hey, these kinds of bricks, yeah? 2x4. They're basically rectangles. You had some which were flatter, some which were longer, some which were shorter. Yeah, that was Lego, right? Maybe you had a few window pieces. Maybe you had a canopy or a front window for a Jeep or something. Maybe you had some wheels. But generally speaking, that was how Lego was, right? That's the proper Lego. Back in my day. Back in my day, we didn't have all this fancy nonsense. Look at this. Look at these round things with holes in them. And look at this Lego Technic. It's got more holes than plastic. What are we paying so much money for this stuff, right? Lego, these bits, right? Remember these? The ones with like the little three-way jetty things on them? They were part of my original set. So I'm a bit younger than maybe some of you.
The mum on the chat saying you haven't picked up your Lego since you left home.
Yeah, sorry, Mum. I've got enough with Bradley's. All this basic Lego stuff. Now, we have all sorts of colours, all sorts of kinds of pieces. Rods and gears and motors and bionic things with wings and other bits and pieces. Dinosaurs and all sorts of crazy stuff. It's not like in my day. It was better in my day. There are thousands and thousands of different unique pieces of Lego. And as time goes on, more and more unique pieces are being created. So the third thing we need to remember is that we are each unique, important, and valuable. I know there's not an absolute infinite number of different types of Lego. In fact, there are 55,900 different types of Lego, not including instruction books and brick puller tongs. But it does illustrate the truth that everyone is different, every life is unique. Just like the ancient poet wrote in the Psalms, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame wasn't hidden from you when I was made in that secret place and when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." We are each unique. But the other thing that this poem highlights that is not immediately apparent from Lego is that every life, every person, every piece is wonderful. Not only is it unique, but it is wonderful. In the Lego world, no one piece is more important than the others. Sometimes I think we as people, we seem to fall into a trap of thinking that some people are more important, more valuable than us. Some people are more significant than us, more important to God than us. Sometimes this can make us feel unimportant or insignificant. But as we just read, 1 Corinthians 12, Paul says, "Now, if the foot should say, because I'm not a hand, I don't belong, i.e., I'm not worthy to be part of this body because I'm not the right type of piece, I don't fit properly." You can't do that. You can't just stop being part of the body. Every different piece is a part. God has arranged and honoured every member of the human race. Every member of the human race has a place and a part to play in God's grand design. Regardless of how you feel about your looks, your background, culture, your gender orientation, or your gifting, God honours you. All right. Perhaps you should think about it like this. How's this for an interesting mind twister? As far as God is concerned, you are just as honourable as Mother Teresa. Do you believe that? That's an interesting thing to wrap your head around. You are as important as any prince or prime minister. You are just as important as Mother Teresa, Joan of Arc, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Pope, or the Queen of England. thinking, that doesn't quite sound right. Well, let me give you the logic. The ultimate expression of love, the ultimate value that someone could place on another is to die for someone, right? There is no greater love hath any man than this. We read this at military memorial services almost every single time. No greater love. And then say, combine that with the verses, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. For God so loved you that he came and died so that whoever believes in him will not perish. God so loved the world, all the world, everyone in the world. No exceptions, no promotions, no exclusions, no lists, nothing. Everyone, all people, you. He died for you. All people have ultimate value. All people are worth God of the universe dying for. That's what he says. That's what he did. Now, if all people are worth dying for, and dying for is the maximum amount of love that you can show to somebody, then all of us have the same value. Mother Teresa, the Pope, and you. God died for you, just as he died for everyone else. So God tells us that like Lego, we need to be connected to one another. God tells us that like Lego, we have infinite possibility, even though we can be limited. God tells us that like Lego, we are each unique, important, and valuable. I want to take a few moments now to reflect on these three Lego truths. We're going to play some music. Actually, Jason's going to come and play. We'll sing a song. Great is thy faithfulness. And as we do, in response, I want to invite you to come. This is a Lego baseboard, a very large one, larger than I was expecting. And I want to invite you to come and choose a Lego piece. There's heaps of Lego all around the room. Oh, I should have said at the beginning, don't put it in your mouth. Come and choose a Lego piece which you think in some way reflects you. Just any old way, you know? And come and choose a Lego piece and come and add it to the baseboard. This baseboard, in my mind, represents Jesus Christ, the foundation on which all of our lives are built and connected. You may feel as though you're a solitary Lego brick living life in loneliness. I would invite you to come and to add your brick to the Jesus kingdom and join us all in Jesus' presence. So as we sing these first couple verses and then the band will take over, you're invited to come and bring a brick. Bring your brick and add it to the kingdom plate. Let's do that and sing together.